said, why? And please help. He said, please help many times.
We've already got the stories and we want to know the truth.
I wasn't doing anything.
I was like, shit.
On January 28, 2014, when Warren County deputies received an eerily calm 911 call, no one could have predicted the shocking twist a simple missing persons report was about to take. Upon returning home, parents of 18-year-old Justin Back not only realised that he was missing, with every attempt to call him proving futile, they also noticed that the entire house showed signs of a possible break-in. The worry that some sort of struggle had occurred in the house only strengthened when Mark Cates, Justin's stepfather, noticed what looked like blood spots throughout the house. Minutes later, when officers arrived at the Waynesville house, they made the shocking discovery that there were blood marks all over the house, and obvious attempts had been made to clean up so much blood from the kitchen floor that officers feared someone could have died in that house earlier. Since there were no persons of interest, officers tried to reach out to 19-year-old Austin Myers and Timothy Mosley, two friends of Justin who were known to have visited him that very day, with neighbours' reports describing that Timothy's Chevy Impala had been spotted in the driveway earlier. Subsequently, in the early hours of January 29th, officers arrested both Austin Myers and Timothy Mosley in their homes, on suspicion that they were involved in the disappearance of Justin Back. While detectives had no definitive answer on exactly what happened before Justin Back went missing, they were certain that Austin and Timothy could lead them in the right direction.
You understand that you have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him or her present with you while you're being questioned. And if you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish.
How does that work?
As far as like now, if you wanted an attorney, you can always contact, and a lot of them like the public defender's office, but you can also basically invoke your right and say, I don't want to talk to you. I can tell you you're all jazzed up and, and just like you were earlier, and there's a lot on your mind because I heard the story and, I want to get those details and I want to get it because after I talk to you, I'm going to go back and talk to Austin. He's still wanting to talk, so he didn't ever tell me he didn't want to. So
I want to talk to you about this. I do want to talk to
So you don't want to talk to me?
I just maybe not at this moment of time. I want to be able to talk to a defense attorney or whatever, because I think that's more logical.
Detectives are in a sticky situation, as hours earlier, during the arrests, Timothy had an emotional outburst confessing to a friend who was staying over that Justin had actually been killed. However, since this statement was not made post-Miranda, it would have held no value in court. And with Timothy asking for an attorney within the first minutes of the interrogation, detectives turned their focus to Austin Myers, hoping that he would confess under lawful interrogation.
A few questions for you. First off, we've had everybody in here, and what happened, I'm going to explain to you, after you got handcuffed and taken to the car by the first officer. What happened is Tim went a little crazy. He started telling Logan everything, and we've already gone to Logan's house, and we've got the gun. We've got all of that. We want to know the truth of who did what and who had the part in it, because we've already got the stories, and we want to know the truth.
I'd feel more comfortable being represented by an attorney.
Okay, so you don't want to talk to me?
I feel that'd be a safer way to go.
Not realising what Austin had gotten himself into, he also asks for an attorney, halting the interrogation. Surprisingly, however, it would only take about 2 hours before Austin changed his mind, deciding to at least get his side of the story straight.
Talk to me. You want to talk to me. Tell me what's...
I think I could help you find the body, but I don't know where it is, but I feel like I can figure it out. I know what city it's in.
Let's back up. So, Monday, you guys were over there visiting, hanging out. Did you go there just to really hang out originally on Monday? So, you were friends, you used to live next to him. So then, tell me what happened from Monday night on, what transpired that led up to this.
So we went back on Tuesday. And
What time did you go back on Tuesday?
1 or something.
Yeah, between noon and 2. So you go back there then, and what was your intent when you went back to the house?
Just the same thing as the day before.
Just to hang out?
This.
Well, what happened when you got there?
I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if anything was planned out or whatnot, but you know what it's like a cable or a chain or something. It goes on somebody's neck.
For what?
Starts with a G.
It starts with what? This is something that's in the house? Is that what you're talking about?
It's something that Timmy pulled out of I don't know where.
Austin explains how he and Timothy visited Justin Back, a childhood friend, the previous day to watch cartoons and hang out. Everything went according to plan, but things took a shocking turn when Timothy started strangling Justin with a metal wire. In response, Austin went into a state of shock, unable to comprehend what had just unfolded, mostly just observing everything.
So when he puts this around his neck, what happens?
I didn't really know what to do. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I kind of just stood there like an idiot, basically. But they struggled for maybe 5 to 10 seconds. Timmy pulled out some sort of a pocket knife, stabbed. I thought at the time it looked like he was punching him in the stomach, is what I thought. And then I realized when Justin went onto the ground, I realized because there was blood pooling out, so I wasn't doing anything.
You were just freaked out.
I was freaked out. I ended up having Justin's head and part of his back on my chest, and I didn't know what to do at all.
Was you talking? Was you saying anything to him? Was he talking?
He said, "Why?" and "Please help." He said, "Please help" many times.
What was Tim doing?
He was gone. He was in the bedroom.
So you sit there and do you know what Tim was going to do?
Well, he came back with the gun and the gun's case. He had the gun out and he stuck it in his pocket. And they said that we had to clean everything up.
Did you ever think about trying to call for help? Since he was asking you for help, did you ever think about that?
I don't see how I could have done that, especially in that kind of a situation. He already just killed one of my friends. Now he has a gun too. If he tried to kill me in that same way, it wouldn't happen. But now he has a loaded gun.
Right.
I'm not going to try to compromise that.
Although Austin claims that he just went along with everything and helped with the cleanup and disposing of the body because he was fearing for his own life, detectives know that he is not telling the full truth. While they waited for any contradictions to slip up from Austin, Timothy Mosley, who was placed in an adjacent room, interestingly listened in on the entire interrogation through the thin walls, slowly realising that Austin is telling a story where he blames him for everything. This small but significant detail would drastically shift the outcome of the entire investigation.
We ended up wrapping him up in a blanket and putting him in the trunk of the car. Tim said it'd be a good idea if we made it look like a runaway or something. So grab his clothes or something, grab some of his clothes and...
What was you think? Did you ever ask Tim why this suddenly happened?
He did take a safe, so I don't know if that was why or if something else I don't know about is why. I don't know.
Did you stop anywhere along the way?
We stopped at some gas station at some point.
Did you buy something or do something, or what did you do at the gas station?
Put gas in the tank.
So you ended up in West Alexandria.
As far as he said it was West Alexandria.
Do you know what road, or, how would we find it?
Do you know where Crybaby Bridge is? If you can find that, I can find it.
How far, did you drive off-road to get to where you took him? Or did you carry him?
Technically both.
Okay,
So he drove off the road. I lifted up a cable that was there. He drove off the road into, I don't know what it normally is, maybe a little field or something. We did a partial circle, got out, and carried him up and put him behind a tree with the blanket on him.
You guys go, you drop his body off, you come back. Where do you go first?
Well, we went to Logan's house.
Okay. What did Timmy take something in? What?
Yeah, he brought his bag in, like a red drawstring bag.
When did you change clothes?
I think I've changed clothes like 4 times.
Did you burn all of those clothes, or?
Yeah. One more thing I just remembered. When we put the body there, he shot him twice.
Okay.
It looked like he shot him in the chest twice. It was when I was walking away.
When detectives compared Austin Myers' version of events with the actual crime scene, it surprisingly matched almost all of what had happened. The attack did indeed begin on January 28th in the afternoon, most likely when Justin Back offered his friends some drinks. Autopsy reports and crime scene evidence concluded that a metal wire touching Justin's chin was the starting point, followed by multiple stabs to the chest. The site of the body was confirmed as Fudge Road near Crybaby Bridge in West Alexandria. Burnt clothes were found in the backyard of Logan, a friend whom Austin and Timothy visited to dispose of evidence and the stolen safe following the murder. What, however, did not match was Austin's portrayal of himself as a detached bystander, rather than an accomplice. CCTV footage unveiled to detectives showed Austin and Timothy visiting multiple stores, buying murder supplies on January 28th, hours before the killing. It was obvious that Austin played a much bigger role in the murder, and after more than 1 hour of listening in on everything, Timothy Mosley finally reached a breaking point, begging to speak to the detectives to share his version of the events.
Stuff from start to finish, Monday morning till today.
Let's do it.
I would say maybe 9 in the morning, Monday. He was like, "Want to make some money?" I was like, "Yeah."
What did he tell you? Well,
He told me about Justin's house, his stepdad, saying he has a safe, he keeps it cracked open, and he has a gun and a lot of money. So we were thinking, quick job, in and out, boom, might make some money. So, knocked on his door, nothing. So it was like, okay, knocked again, just in case. That's when Justin answered the door, woke him up, and he was surprised to see us. And so we walk in, he's watching a movie. We sit there, watch a movie with him.
what happens next?
His stepdad came home.
Okay.
And so we left. Went to the McDonald's, just in town. And he talked about it. Austin came up with the idea of continuing with the plan.
Timothy explains that Austin not only came up with the idea to rob Justin, but also crafted 3 meticulous plans to go through with everything. The first plan detailed hoping that nobody would be home so that they could quickly go in and out, stealing the safe that supposedly held around $20,000. If, however, they encountered Justin, their plan was to make it seem like a visit and lure him to the basement, before injecting a mix of substances into his body using a syringe, ultimately killing him that way.
That's why we went into kind of like the convenience store of town. That's when he got like 4 or 5 boxes of medicine, like the NyQuil.
Okay.
And we were going to get syringes. We put in the syringe, stick it in his neck, he's down.
Interestingly, this plan failed when Austin and Timothy first visited Justin on the evening of January 27th, as Austin panicked, not knowing how to use the syringe correctly. During this first visit, Justin remained unalarmed, noticing nothing unusual. Austin and Timothy left, and although this plan had failed primarily because of Austin, he was the one who insisted they had to pull it off, since they had already come so far. The next morning, on January 28th, as Austin and Timothy bought new murder supplies, Austin came up with the idea of visiting Justin, killing him, and then waiting for his stepfather to arrive to also kill him to make it seem like a murder-suicide. Timothy, however, did not approve of this, as it seemed too risky, so they went with Plan C, visiting Justin, killing him, robbing the house, and then getting rid of the body.
We ended up back to Justin's, pulled into the driveway.
Now, did you know he was there?
We pretty much knew that he was going to be there. He graduated, didn't have a job. Well, what else would he have to do?
Right.
So, knocked, and I had the tripwire in my pocket because
You're the bigger guy.
that, and Austin was like, said something about him freezing because he actually knows the guy.
Right.
Me, I don't know him. it won't have that much of an effect on me. Knock on the door.
He comes to the door.
He answers, and he was like, "Oh, hey." So we walked inside, sit down, watch this funny ass movie. I can't remember what it was called. The plan was, Austin distracts him, I choke him. Austin holds his arms.
Detectives are faced with someone who is telling them every detail from start to end. A stark contrast to the beginning of the interrogation, when Timothy asked for an attorney right away. While this change could suggest that Timothy is trying to play the same game as Austin by shifting the blame onto him and telling detectives a false story, he doesn't shy away from admitting his own role in the murder.
He asked us if we wanted a drink. Well, Austin needed a piss. He asked me if I wanted a Mountain Dew or anything. I was like, I'm good for now. Austin comes out, and then Justin asked Austin if he wanted something to drink. He was like, okay.
So where are you when this is?
Justin was on the couch here. I was on the little couch here.
Okay.
And then Austin was standing right in front of the rocking chair.
Okay.
The plan was, Austin distracts him. I come up behind him, choke him, and as he came back up, I tried to flip it around his neck, trying to choke him.
Right.
I didn't know that I missed. I got him like right on the chin. He was like this, and he went to come up like that.
And you hit him as he's coming up.
And I was, boom. He's struggling. Austin grabbed his arms. I kicked his legs down, so we end up on the floor. And then a few minutes later, struggling and everything, Justin put up a fight. Austin was like, "You have it on his chin. It's not on his throat." So that's when I started to freak out.
Yeah.
Because my hands were already tied up. That's fine.
That's from the...
Because I had it wrapped around like that,
Right.
and it was cutting me. So I started to freak out. I'm just like, shit, this isn't going as planned. I don't know what to do. It's too late to take it back.
Right.
So, not knowing what else to do, I pulled out my knife, because it was right here in my pocket, and I started stabbing him in the back.
So what did it feel like when you were hitting it? Did you just go in, or did you have to push, or was it like easy? It was like butter?
It was just easy. I guess it was
Really?
adrenaline. It was just so slick. I stabbed him. I don't know exact number, or even a round number, but it was a good multiple times in the back. Maybe I would say around 5 times in the back.
Okay.
Justin Back was stabbed a total of 21 times during the attack, and contrary to Austin's claims, he did indeed play a major role in the murder, holding Justin's arms so that Timothy could attack, and later even wrestling Justin to the ground while Timothy strangled Justin with one hand and stabbed him with the other. During the struggle, Timothy left for a moment because he was overwhelmed with everything, realizing that his clothes and the entire kitchen were covered in blood. At that point, Austin took over with the metal wire, strangling Justin until every sign of life was gone.
There was blood everywhere, all over the floor, all over my pants and everything, because I was on my knees, and it was just everywhere. That's when I was watching Austin pretty much just finish it, like by choking him. He was still moving, and you could tell he was still alive, but hardly. I went to his dad's room, my stepdad's room, trying to find the safe. We cleaned up as much as we could with the rugs that were on the ground. And at the same time, we was pouring ammonia.
Where'd you get you brought the ammonia with you?
Earlier that day, we stopped at the Dollar General in Main Street. Got ammonia, latex gloves, and some type of chemical you use. I can't.
Or your septic?
Septic, yeah. Because Austin would like get some of this, and it'll help decompose faster. I was like, alright, whatever works. We cleaned up as much as we could with the rugs that were on the ground. I remember seeing a blanket on the couch that he was using. So I grabbed that, and Austin rolled him up. I grabbed the head, arms, the head.
The heavier part?
Yeah. And we take him out to the trunk, throw him in, shut it. We get everything cleaned up. We gather everything he would take, right, if he would want to run away, and just pack it up in the car. Boom. And so we got back into the car and started heading towards West Alexandria. On our way there, he kept Austin kept talking and talking and talking.
What was he talking about?
Justin.
How was he describing it? Like he was excited about it, or
he couldn't get the image of his dead face.
What was he describing? What was he saying?
He just kept mumbling, blabbering on about how he looked and everything. and that he looked you could tell the difference and everything. I was like, dude, shut up. I'm not trying to think about this right now. I'm trying to think of moving forward and trying to forget about that.
Right.
We ended up going all the way down there by the bridge. We're driving, we go down, we pretty much go on the outline of the field.
Okay.
With the woods all around it. And we stopped once we got to like the middle of the back. Pulled over, stopped the car, we lifted him up. Austin's getting bloody again. He was struggling, trying to get it. So we pretty much just ended up putting him on the other side of this log. And he was in the blanket still. We already talked about it. And about shooting him with the gun. Can't even remember why we came up with that. But Austin was like, I feel like I should do it. Like, I finished him off, so I think I should shoot him. I was like, okay, whatever.
Why? I mean, I don't get that.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's because it was a personal thing. I don't know.
Right.
So, I gave him the gun and everything. I went back to my car, got the gun, came back, gave it to him. I was just thinking one shot, Austin, I'm just like, shit.
The fact that Austin shot at the body long after Justin had passed away played a key role in the court proceedings, as it underlined Austin's absolute lack of emotion and remorse for killing a childhood friend, with theories speculating that he shot out of spite and disgust. Later reports claimed that Austin showed psychopathic signs, which had been implied much earlier in the first police interview taken right after the arrest.
Why don't you seem concerned about a friend?
I am, but I'm not publicly emotional.
Why do you hold all of your emotion in?
It was a weakness.
It's not weakness.
I feel like it is.
What happened on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of this week? All of those things put together, with the outcome being Justin dead and dumped, what do you think the outcome is going to be? If this was you that all these things happened to, and that was laying out in that field now, what would you think the two people responsible for it should have happened to them?
Throughout the entire investigation, Austin never changed his side of the story. He maintained that Timothy played the main role in everything, painting himself as the passive accomplice. Ironically, however, he would later be referred to as the mastermind behind the murder by prosecutors.
They wanted it to be a clean and neat murder.
That's the testimony today from one of the two teenagers accused of killing Justin Back. 9 on Your Side's Butler Warren reporter Jay Warren has the testimony.
Extremely difficult testimony to hear today. Timothy Mosley testified that some of Justin Back's last words were why. Why were the two of these men trying to kill him?
During the trial, the case was divided into two parts. Primarily State versus Austin and Timothy, but also Austin Myers versus Timothy Mosley. The first instance was less complex for authorities, as they had plenty of evidence with immediate suspects. However, things became much more complicated when both Austin and Timothy started blaming each other for their involvement in the murder. Austin's defense claimed that he was a passive accomplice who might have bought the murder supplies with Timothy, but only due to manipulation. They further claimed that Austin's role in the murder itself was minor, as he didn't participate in the stabbing and only held Justin's arm in a supposed moment of panic, not to assist Timothy in the killing. Austin's defense tried to push the image of an emotionally overwhelmed character who was confused and coerced into everything. Since Timothy had already confessed to his direct involvement in the murder during the interrogation, his defense aimed to highlight that he wasn't the primary actor, even taking a plea deal to fully testify against Austin. This approach was very successful, as they were able to convince the jury that Austin was the mastermind behind everything, pointing out his absolute lack of remorse and reckless behaviour in his plans to rob the house, where he was willing to not only kill Justin Back, but also Justin's father to cover up the crime, and allegedly after the murder, even wanted to kill his own parents. As a result, Austin Myers was sentenced to death in prison for murder, becoming the youngest inmate on death row in Ohio, while Timothy Mosley received a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
If you choose for me to die, it's only going to cause more pain and suffering for another family. Not me. It won't hurt me. I won't feel anything.